The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Well, it's time to do a pre-Thanksgiving six-pack as we head into the weekend a little bit early this week. And, Beef, can you update the situation?
What? I thought we were doing the
10-minute drill, Dan.
10-minute drill here.
Oh.
Glad to have you along.
I was confused, too.
Thank you for joining us. We will do that.
We will get to that. Good.
That's good tease. Thank you.
That's coming up.
Since a JEA, in addition to wanting to steal every penny out of your pocket out there, is incompetent, I'll let people know that if you're listening to me, there's a boil water in St. Johns County. JEA doesn't feel it's important enough to alert their customers. They'll just let you find out on your own one way or the other. Of course, you probably get those spam emails from JEA, no problem, right on schedule. But, yeah, you might want to do a little digging. Don't bother, JEA with it, though. I mean, there's too many trillions of dollars to be split up amongst them to actually pay attention to the water boil. Ooh. And by the way, this isn't me going off. Doesn't affect you two, so it doesn't matter. But this is incompetence. That's unbelievable. That you have E. coli in your water system and you don't alert every customer. It's unheard of. So, thank you, JEA, for the heads up. I mean, things happen, I get, but really, thanks for alerting the neighborhoods and making sure everyone is safe. Don't spend all that money this Christmas.
Sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way right now. We call it the 10-minute drill, I think. Is that what we're doing, Beef?
I mean, allegedly.
Is that the intro that you just played?
Yes, that was the 10-minute
drill. I thought I'd
drill.
do a little trending first.
Followed by the hit song, It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock.
Oh,
down here we do have a
nice
prize pack to give out. What are we giving out today?
We do.
A free bag of E. coli. No?
No, well, I mean, that's you get that for free.
Yes, I do.
Comes with your subscription.
I guess I should not keep drinking this coffee that's made with my water.
Oh, dear. Well, it's been boiled. You're good. One Lucky Googan's going to take home lunch or dinner for two from Chick-fil-A and some airport parking for their next getaway at usapark.net.
All right, Ohio State is now number one. Why, I'm not sure, but they leaped LSU, who won and hasn't lost. And Ohio State won, and they haven't lost. So I don't know what to make, hide nor hair of that. I don't know why you're putting LSU at 2. I don't know if it's because you don't want SEC team at 1 and SEC team at 4, maybe.
But it can't. It's impossible to finish 1 and 4. Like, you can't have SEC 1 and 4 at the end of the day. It's impossible for it to work out that way.
If LSU beats Georgia's out,
and
then Alabama's in.
Oh,
right?
Probably, yeah, probably.
So then it would be 1 and 4. But if Georgia beats LSU, then it wouldn't be. So I'm not sure what the thought process was, unless they're honestly thinking Ohio State's better than LSU. But what gave you an indication? Because they beat Penn State?
LSU
in a
beat,
close game?
When they played them, 4 top 10 teams. Texas, Florida, Auburn, Alabama. There's no team in the country that can match that.
Yeah.
And so spare me your breakdown, not you, the committee, on scoring defense. How can you compare Ohio State's scoring defense to LSU when they haven't played the same schedule?
In fact, our drill poll question of the day presented by Lock & Law DUI and Criminal Defense. Know before you blow. Call Lee Lock at 858-9818. Who would you vote number 1 in college football? And the Googans know. So LSU. It's not undefeated Ohio State. It's not undefeated Clemson. It's not someone else. It's LSU overwhelmingly, 83% of the vote. I don't get it. Unless
The committee is saying this without saying it. LSU wins their game this week, they're in.
Yeah.
Because they should be in. That's another. This better not happen. LSU better not go 13-0 and lose one to Georgia and then get booted out of the 4.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fair
That's
either.
completely. LSU spot should be guaranteed if they win.
You can't suddenly play the parameter of, well, when you lose is important.
No, it's not fair.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Or when you win. Ohio State seems to be getting more credit because they. Do you think Penn State is better than Alabama or Florida?
No.
I don't either.
No.
I think Penn State and Auburn would play a dead-even game on a neutral field.
Penn State.
And Ohio State is getting all this credit for beating Penn State at home by 11.
Yeah.
I don't think that's better than winning at Alabama.
Yeah.
Say.
Florida wasn't done any favors as they stay around 11,
Yeah.
and you want them to get up ahead of Penn State and some of these other schools, but
for the sake of the bowl game.
for the sake of the New Year's Six bowl game. So,
but what we talked about yesterday was there's some losses here that are going to happen.
Yes,
inescapable. And when those losses happen, Florida should be high enough postured to get either the orange or the cotton.
This has been a great year for Clemson in this respect. While they get mad, if you're a Clemson fan, you've been under the radar beautifully. And you can have that chip on your shoulder when you go play whomever you play, be it LSU or Ohio State or Clemson. Just to be, all right, we're fine. We'll just stay here at 3. We got South Carolina. And then, does Virginia Tech, who I think will beat Virginia, have a shot at beating Clemson at all?
It's hard to say. I mean, if Clemson plays like they played, what was the home?
North Carolina?
Yeah, against North Carolina, it could happen. Virginia Tech's playing their best football. I'll say that. Let's see how they do against Virginia. Because Virginia can still win that division. They're playing each other. I was talking about divisions up for grabs, and I forgot about that one. But I'm pretty sure Virginia Tech play this weekend for the Coastal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, if Virginia Tech handles Virginia, then they are going to look even that much more worthy of the potential of beating Clemson, but I'm just not sure.
You can find fault with so many things in the rankings, and that's fine. And again, what I think the hard part for me is, and this is ultimately, as much as when we go through it, we sit here and we criticize, whatever it is on Wednesday. The ultimate narrative complaint comes down to this, and this is why I don't like it. Because are we going to take the best 4 teams? Well, are we going to take who we perceive are the best 4 teams, or are we going to take the 4 teams that we perceive deserve to be in the rank in the playoff?
I don't know if I can differentiate between those two.
Well, you could, because last year you could differentiate because everybody thought one of the best 4 teams was left out.
Ohio State? No, it's not Ohio.
Georgia, right?
Was it Georgia?
I don't know. See, I can't even keep up.
Auburn, maybe?
No, it definitely wasn't Auburn. But I think it was either Georgia or...
Well, Auburn had beaten Georgia and then lost to them in the championship game.
So...
Oh, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so you get down to...
Yeah, Georgia lost to Alabama in the SEC championship.
Yeah, so you get down to that, and then who's the best 4? Do you want the best 4? Do you want who you perceive? Like, in other words, I'm sorry, I feel like if Utah wins the Pac-12 championship and they have 1 loss to a good USC team, they deserve to be in ahead of Alabama.
Yeah, and I could argue Alabama's losses to the number 1 team and Utah's losses to a crappy team.
Well, not crappy. They're a bowl team, but they're not a great team. Yeah. So
it's like losing to South Carolina. Be like, that's the same.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, though, the conference champion deserves to be in more, but they won't be. Alabama will be perceived, if they beat Auburn, to be one of the 4 best teams.
Yeah, I don't fall for the conferencing like you do because the conferences are so different. I mean, if one conference, it'd be like saying that the AFC South winner deserves the same thing as the NFC West
winner.
Like
Oklahoma gets penalized because, not just because of the conference, but because they've played close games. But then I would remind you that, for example, one I know near and dear to my heart, the 2006 Florida Gators won a ton of close games, and then they went out to the desert and annihilated big bad Ohio State. So you just don't know.
Right.
And if you don't get in, you'll never know. You don't have that chance.
And I would suggest if Utah wants to go play for the title, they can't lose to USC. They know it. We all know it.
Well, then why can Alabama lose?
Because Alabama's schedule is so much harder.
Not this year.
Yeah, it is.
Not this year.
It is.
No.
Yeah, it is. It's harder than Utah's. It most certainly is.
Yeah.
You know, we dumb down the Texas A&Ms of the world, but if Texas A&M was playing in the Pac-12 South, something tells me they'd be 6-2, Hick. I mean, I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
All you can do is suggest and speculate. The clear answer is to go to 6 or 8, put them in, and then there's no questions.
Yeah.
And I think it will prove out most years that, the team that you thought was better was better. Now, we're not, not every time.
Yeah.
Not every time.
It's just a little frustrating.
Yeah, I'd rather. Yeah, it is. At the end of the day, you and I know that the winner of the national title is going to be Clemson, LSU, or Ohio State. We both know that. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would think so.
Right. And with all due respect to number 4, whoever it is, they ain't getting past 2 of those 3.
How come there's no? When does hot stove start? And why in baseball does everything always take so long, and yet when NFL free agency starts, it goes boom, 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 boom?
Well, I think you have the qualifying offer aspect you don't have in other sports.
Yeah.
You have arbitration you don't have in other sports. So.
You have the collusion that you don't have in other sports.
Perhaps. Yeah. Although Colin Kaepernick just called and said, "You sure?"
Yeah. Well, like last year, you got Keuchel and his
Never got
guy, the
signed.
Vulture.
Yeah.
Wait until June to get signed. I mean, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, we're I guess like other sports, the dominoes has to start to fall. And when you're talking about the kind of multi-millions, the big name guys don't just get scooped up anymore. We waited late for Machado and Harper, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't happen like in football when it starts, the big names go first. That doesn't work that way.
I guess you're still doing some, end of the year. And here's another thing in baseball, too. You have so much more to scout. Mm-hmm. You don't just have a 53-man roster. You have a 200-man organization, and you're trying to figure out who your 40 are. And what are you squirreling your face up at over there, friend?
Looking at your Atlanta Hawks, they're tied with the Knicks.
Yeah, I told you that yesterday.
When do they hit the skids?
We don't have anyone, dude. We're not
they're
playing,
beat up,
we
man.
don't have any of our guys. All we have is Trae Young. We have Joe. No, we haven't had Collins forever. We haven't had Herter forever.
You'll get your
Two
guys.
of our best 3 players haven't played all year.
Who is it?
Herter and Collins, who came
What's
in.
wrong with who's Herter?
Herter is the shooting guard, averaged like 15 last year. The redheaded guy from Maryland, supposed to be Clay. He's a good player, though. He is a good player. He's like 6'7", swing guy.
They're not. Yeah, but they're not Knicks bad. But
Without their players, they are.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, without their players, they are.
Wow.
Yeah, when it's like Trey and nobody, they are.
It's Trey and nobody.
Are they
They are
coming
Knicks
back
bad,
or no?
Yeah.
When?
Well, Collins
it's
has
too
a 20
late?
for this. Too late for what?
To
Make the playoffs?
For the run to the ring.
Yeah, they're not.
I guess the 8 seed in the East has 6 wins, so you're only 2 out.
I don't think. No, I think. By the time, listen, when they have those guys, they're still not a finished product. I mean, they maybe go 500 with the 3 of them.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's not good, Danny.
but they could make the playoffs still, but they're
I know my next Atlanta Hawk after watching some holiday basketball yesterday,
yes.
or at least the guy I want to be my next Atlanta Hawk. Just drive over to Athens and get that Anthony Edwards kid and sign him right. Maybe kidnap him and just unveil him on draft night. Boy,
He's not far.
He wants you to do like a Celtic pride thing.
33 yesterday.
You and Ron Compton could go get him and kidnap him.
Only 2 Hawks fans in Jacksonville.
SEC tournament, Rodeo Ron and you.
This kid was the number 2 recruit. He chose Georgia for some reason, Cash. And yesterday, in the second half, 33 points in the second half, which it reminded me of watching Chris Jackson go off on the Gators so many years ago down in Gainesville.
He's Anthony Edwards, the former nerd.
A different
Yes.
Anthony Edwards.
Oh.
This
Started
guy's not
ER?
on ER. No,
You knew him as Goose.
Top Gun.
Yeah, nothing like that guy. He has the same name only.
All right, well, let's do caller number 3 right now, right? You want to do that? And tell folks what they're going to get. That's the 10-minute drill. We got picks coming up. We'll see what's trending, so a lot still ahead.
Fun couple of hours leading you into a Thanksgiving. And for all the fallen soldiers in Julican Creek Plantation, I apologize on behalf of JEA, who finds it unnecessary to alert you when there's E. coli in your water system.